One of the best parts about being a youth baseball coach is passing your knowledge of the game of baseball on to your players and watching them have success on the baseball field because of what you've taught them. But in my opinion, the absolute best part about being a youth coach is being a mentor to your players and teaching them about life as well as baseball. One of the most important things a player can do in life that goes hand in hand with success in baseball is success in the classroom. Stick around for today's Bullpen Bulletin, where we're discussing why it's a coach's job to also teach the importance of grades to their young players and the 3 things that coaches need to think about when it comes to coaching youth baseball. Hey team, Coach Hart here with Building Better Baseball, the best place for baseball education. If you're finding me for the first time, be sure to hit that red subscribe button so you can learn something new about baseball every week. If you're new to baseball and you're looking to buy new equipment, I have a free guide just for you in the description below that has all the information you need on buying new equipment. And if you're a coach who needs help making your practices more efficient, I have a free 2-hour practice plan complete with 2 practice blueprints linked in the description below. Now, let's work together to teach youth players that it's more important to have success in the classroom than out here on the baseball field. The first thing that coaches need to think about, and the thing that they need to teach their youth players, is that it's called a student-athlete, not an athlete-student. This is something I used to tell my team repeatedly because it encompasses my entire coaching philosophy in one phrase. There's a reason players who are able to play for their school when they get older at any level are called student-athletes. They're not called athlete students. It's because education comes before sports, always. Players need to know that when they're old enough to play for their school, whether it's a middle school or high school, that they need to have a certain grade point average in order to make the team and play for the team. If they don't have the grades, they won't be able to play. It's a coach's job to teach this to youth players at a young age because most youth players at that young of age, they don't make the connection between education and sports. Yes, their parents are the ones who should be preaching it the most, but coaches have second responsibility on this topic. Trust me, I will always encourage youth players to shoot for the stars and let them know that they can play at a very high level if they put the work in. But I will also prepare my players for the facts. And the facts are that only 9% of high school players go on to play in college. Only 10% of college players get drafted. And even after the draft, if they're lucky enough to get there, they have the minor league system to go through. And that's 4 levels of baseball before they get to the show, which is the baseball that you see on TV. All players must know the importance of education because that's what they'll need to succeed in life if baseball doesn't work out. In addition to teaching them about baseball, it is a youth coach's job to teach them about the importance of education. The second thing that coaches need to think about is that you are your player's connection to sports. I know when I was playing youth baseball, I used baseball as an escape to get away from the seriousness of the real world. Baseball was always fun, and I viewed my coach as the cool guy because he was the adult who was experiencing the same fun that I was. I didn't view him as a parent figure or a teacher figure. He was the cool guy who knew a lot about sports. This is exactly how your players view you. They look up to you not as a parent, not as a teacher, but as a mentor. Almost like sort of a cool uncle or big brother. They listen to everything you say and they want to make you proud. You have such a dramatic influence on their life inside and outside of baseball. On the surface, you're teaching them how to play a game. But on a deeper and more important level, you're teaching them life lessons and how to properly grow into respectable young men and women. If you make it a priority to consistently tell your players how important education is, they will listen. They might tune out their parents and tune out their teachers, but they will listen to you. The thing they need to realize is that their grades are their ticket to playing, not their talent. Let me say that again. If you're a player watching this, your grades are your ticket to playing at the next level, not your talent. You could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the grades, no school is going to want you. If you have the grades, every school will want you, and you can play anywhere. If you're a coach, you need to help your players realize this. The third thing that coaches need to think about when they're coaching their youth players is that parents rely on you for backup. Even though most parents will never say it to a coach, almost all parents rely on youth coaches to help teach their children about life. Parents can get exhausted trying to tell their children the same things over and over and have nothing get through. I'm sure you remember when you were younger, whenever your parents told you something was important, you might have listened, but also you might have brushed it off or might have said, "They're being dramatic," or "They're overreacting." That's a natural response for a child to have when their parents are trying to teach them something. That's where you come in as a coach. You are the backup, the reinforcements. We already know that your players will listen to you, and you have fostered that mentor-mentee relationship. Think about this. If your players get home from school and their parents say, hey, make sure you do your homework after practice, it will probably go in one ear and out the other. They go to baseball practice, and at the end of practice in the huddle, you say, remember, it's called student-athlete, not athlete-student. Make sure you get your homework done because that's your ticket to playing in high school and beyond. No grades, no play. You can be sure those players will be thinking, man, that's exactly what my parents said. And coach knows everything about sports and playing at the next level, so if he's saying that, I better get my homework done so I can play. You have completely reinforced what the parents have said, and those players will be sure to get home and do their homework. Their parents will not have to nag them or reprimand them for not doing it, which ultimately will create a better relationship between parent and child. Because let's face it, no one wants to be nagged by their parents. Even though it's always unspoken, coaches should know that parents rely on them for reinforcements in teaching their child. If you're a coach, a parent, or a player watching this, I want to know your thoughts on today's Bullpen Bulletin and the idea of student-athlete, not athlete-student. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. If you're new to baseball, don't forget to grab your free guide on buying new equipment linked below. And if you're a coach, don't forget to grab your free 2-hour practice plan linked below. Thanks for watching today's edition of the Bullpen Bulletin. I hope this video made you think about how education and sports are connected and the importance of educating youth players on this connection. I'll catch you next week for another edition of the Bullpen Bulletin.